When his girlfriend is shot before his eyes, this man starts training hard so he can avenge her death. Mitch Rapp and his girlfriend Katrina are on vacation in Ibiza, Spain. The couple has fun, heightened when Mitch proposes marriage to Katrina, and she accepts. He goes to the bar to get some drinks to celebrate while Katrina waits on the beach. Suddenly, some men start shooting the civilians with rifles. Mitch sustains a gunshot to his leg, but he maneuvers through and reaches the beach, locating Katrina. Just as he gets her, one of the terrorists shoots her dead. 18 months later, Mitch has become a recluse, secluding himself in the confines of his apartment. He has trained himself in marksmanship and martial arts. Every evening, he logs onto an internet message board for terrorists. One day, Mitch is invited to meet the leader face-to-face in Libya. When he arrives, the leader quizzes him on various aspects of Islam and jihad. Mitch gets one question wrong, but before the terrorists can act, the US Special Forces breach the building and start shooting at the terrorists. In the chaos, Mitch frees himself, but screams in despair when he realizes the leader has been killed. It's revealed that Mitch had targeted the jihadist cell responsible for Katrina's death. The US Special Forces drag Mitch away while he cries at being denied the vengeance he wants. It is revealed that the CIA had been monitoring Mitch's interactions with the terrorists, and that's how they got access to the meeting. Mitch is held in a CIA facility for debriefing over 30 days. CIA Deputy Director Irene Kennedy wants to recruit him, but Mitch is reluctant. He knows that the CIA rarely acts on threats, and his plan is to eliminate jihad cells one at a time. Irene talks with the CIA director to get approval for Mitch to join a black operations unit codenamed Orion. The director expresses doubt, but Irene believes the beach shootout changed him. Irene drives Mitch to Roanoke, where he will undergo special training from former Navy SEAL and Cold War veteran Stan Hurley. Like most people in the CIA, Hurley is doubtful of Mitch's qualifications, but he agrees to train him alongside other operatives. Training is challenging, as Hurley teaches the recruits to control their emotions, always be on the lookout, and know when a mission is over. All through, Mitch demonstrates excellent combat skills, but Hurley is worried about his emotional status. Meanwhile, Irene learns that a weapons-grade nuclear material called plutonium has disappeared from a decommissioned Russian nuclear facility. The director suspects that such a large amount of plutonium can only be commissioned by a large group like the Iranian hardliners. The group is annoyed with the Iranian government's nuclear deal with the US. The director calls a meeting to remind the Iranian leaders of the peace treaty and hopes to intercept the plutonium before a criminal purchases it. Mitch constantly butts heads with Victor, another recruit. In one training scenario, Mitch saves Victor from being shot, but he repeatedly fires at the shooter, causing a reprimand from Hurley. He reminds them to be alert, as if one of them falls in battle, no one will go back for him, as is the rule of Orion. In Poland, the thieves sell the plutonium to someone. Their suspicious van draws the police's attention, so the buyer invites them inside. Unfortunately, the buyer double-crosses the sellers by eliminating them and the police before escaping with the plutonium. Hurley watches the news on TV and is startled to recognize the unknown buyer. He seeks out Irene and airs out his concerns. Irene is doubtful, but since intelligence has received word that an armed dealer in Turkey has purchased a nuclear trigger that could efficiently work with the plutonium, she tells Hurley to get his team ready to get to Istanbul and intercept the meeting before the buyer receives everything to make a weapon. Irene wants Mitch on the mission, but Hurley fears he isn't ready. Back at his house, Hurley plays Katrina's video for Mitch, encouraging him to defeat his emotional and personal ties so that he can be a great agent. The team prepares and heads out to Istanbul, where a deep-rooted agent, Annika, picks them up. Despite being ordered to stay put, Mitch nicks the arms dealer's assistant's phone, allowing the team to get the location for the meeting the following day. Hurley neutralizes a military threat, while Victor walks into the restaurant to observe the exchange. The buyer gets the trigger device, but he realizes that Victor is following him. Consequently, he fatally stabs him, accusing Mitch of removing his gun, and a shootout ensues. Since the mission has failed and Victor is dead, Hurley orders his agents to walk away. However, Mitch disobeys the order and kidnaps the assistant from earlier. He directs Mitch to his boss's house, and Mitch spares his life when he expresses hatred for his boss's terrorist activities. In the apartment's parking lot, Mitch is cornered by two ferocious dogs, but he manages to lock them in a car. He sneaks into the dealer's apartment, fighting brutally with the bodyguard. Luckily, Mitch subdues and executes the guard before eliminating the dealer and getting his laptop. In the CIA's safe house, Hurley is furious at Mitch for disobeying orders. Irene jumps to his defense, causing Hurley to snap on her. Irene yells at him and then explains that the buyer needs a nuclear physicist to craft the nuclear material into a functional nuclear weapon. Simultaneously, the buyer meets with the Iranian headliners who want to purchase the weapon. Mitch asks Hurley who the buyer is. Seeing that he recognizes him, Hurley holds back the information, telling Mitch to do his job. The team locates the physicist and traces him back to a hotel while Hurley waits for them downstairs. However, this is an ambush as the buyer's team raids the hotel and holds Mitch and Annika at gunpoint. He asks for Hurley's position. Hurley suspects something is amiss and rushes up to help the duo. They manage to kill the other bodyguards, but the buyer escapes through the window. Hurley takes the duo to a safe house, and they interrogate one of the men they held captive. However, the man knows little of value. Mitch wonders why the buyer had asked for Hurley, but he dismisses him, asking him to rest for the mission. Annika treats Mitch's wounds in the hotel room and accidentally says the buyer's code name, Ghost. After severally dunking her in water, he realizes she is a spy, so Irene's team apprehends her for further questioning. Hurley leaves Mission Command to meet with an Iranian contact and Annika's uncle. The contact reveals that the Iranian defense leaders are after the weapon. They hate the nuclear treaty and want to start a war with Israel. Suddenly, Ghost's team kills the contact and kidnaps Hurley. The team learns that Annika is an Iranian foreign agent working for the mainstream Iranian faction to stop the hardliners' plan for war. Soon, Irene learns of the kidnapping after the contact's body is found in the river. Mitch wants to go after Hurley, but Irene reminds him of the rules and tells him to get ready to return home. Desperate, Mitch steals Annika's phone and attacks the vehicle. Ferrying Annika, overpowers the Mossad agents accompanying her and asks for her help in rescuing Hurley. Meanwhile, Ghost reveals that he was a member of the Orion team recruited by Hurley from the Navy, believed to have perished in a bombing. Ghost feels betrayed by Hurley's abandonment and blames him and the US Navy for turning him into the ruthless person he now is. Hurley chides Ghost for ignoring direct orders, leading to the death of 10 agents. Ghost tortures Hurley for information on his team's location, but he remains silent. The Iranian defense minister and his team reach the hideout to get the bomb as part of the agreement. However, Hurley points out that Ghost was using their resources just as Ghost eliminates them all. Mitch and Annika steal a car to maneuver through the town. Annika shares that the hardliners were responsible for her family's death. Hurley wants Ghost to kill him, but the latter decides to keep him alive so he can see the damage he intends to unleash on America. Coincidentally, Mitch and Annika use her phone to trace the minister's location and arrive at the hideout. Annika stumbles upon the minister and eliminates him for being the reason behind her father and brother's death. Mitch detonates a small bomb whose explosion shock is detected by Irene's team, and a helicopter is sent to the location. Mitch frees Hurley and goes after Ghost. Ghost captures Annika, misunderstanding her when she claims she wants to see her family. Annika uses Ghost's gun to end her life, but Ghost fires some shots at Mitch and runs away. Mitch follows him into the tunnels, spotting him getting on a motorized boat. Mitch quickly gets on the boat and starts fighting with Ghost. Hurley is picked up by the helicopter, and he contacts Irene. His last conversation with Ghost about dying in the ocean makes him realize that Ghost wants to make a kamikaze attack against the US Navy's 6th Fleet. Irene warns the Navy of the impending attack. Ghost gets the upper hand and nearly executes Mitch, but the tables turn when he mentions Katrina. With renewed energy, Mitch fatally stabs Ghost. The Navy wants to bomb the boat, but Mitch starts turning it away from the fleet. Hurley advises him to throw the bomb in the water and avoid the Navy attacking, as the effect will spread out to the town. Mitch does as advised and boards the helicopter a few seconds before the bomb detonates. The bomb explodes, creating a massive sinkhole and hurricane that encompasses the Navy's vessels. The shockwave reaches the helicopter, causing it to lose control, but the pilot regains control a second before it hits the ocean. The Navy's vessels sustain some damage, but the soldiers survive. After the events, when Irene visits him, Hurley is recovering from his injuries. He reports that Mitch is on vacation in Dubai. Mitch is seen holding the engagement ring he gave Katrina, showing that he has finally found peace. The Iranian hardliners leader claims that the CIA faked news on Iran planning Israel's attack and is responsible for the bomb. Unfortunately, his team will win the presidential elections. He concludes that Iran will annihilate America. He and his team get into an elevator where Mitch is already waiting.